Basketball. It's a sport that doesn't really create those bigger waves in India. But yet, there are several athletes who take it up as a sport, take it up as a career, try to pursue their goals and dreams, and at the very same time, hope to take India to the next level in a sport that is really loved by fans across the globe. Today, I have with me Ulhas Koravi Satyanarayanan, who is an Indian basketball player. He's the first Indian to play basketball in European countries, and at the very same time, he hopes to take India to the next level in a sport that is loved by fans a lot. Ulhas, how are you?
All good. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for that intro. And I'm great. I feel very blessed to be here and talking to you now.
Nice. So this is like, one of my pet questions that I usually ask to sports persons when I begin an interview, that how is your health and how are you keeping nowadays?
All good. If you want me to go a little into detail, my yoga keeps me right and happy and focused on the real work. So I'm doing amazing. But I would say yoga is the key.
Okay, you talk about yoga. When was the first time you realized that yoga is basically going to be useful as far as your body is concerned? Like, when was the first time you started doing yoga, and now that you say that it's become a practice for you?
Actually, I was born in a Brahmin family, so I started meditating since I was 7, but I later understood the science of everything when I was 18.
Yeah.
So that really clicked with me, and I felt this is the way forward to be able to, keeping up with the pressures and staying focused regardless on what the job is, and also not forgetting to enjoy what you're doing at the end of the day. So because you pick a sport or you pick a job because you love to do it, right?
Yes.
So not forgetting why you started the journey as well. So it keeps you grounded and it keeps you at the same time focused on the task.
Okay, you talk about picking up a sport and at the very same time enjoying it and having as a career also. So when was the first time you realized that it is basketball that's going to have that fun element in you, or at the very same time you can pursue it as a career?
To be honest, I would call it destiny in sorts, because I never thought basketball as the way forward when I was little. When I was 7, I actually, like every Indian does, I chose cricket.
Okay.
And as I chose cricket, my teacher told me that it's full, and she didn't let me play that sport. So I said football, she said full. Then I said volleyball, she said full. And then I asked her, is there any other sport left? So she told me basketball. So that's how my story started. And then I asked her, what is basketball? So when I stepped on the court, I just fell in love with the game, with how it was played. And then I picked it up, I just fell in love with it.
So it was basically love at first sight.
Love at first sight.
Something, it's a term that we usually use in a different thing of our life.
No, for me, just love at first sight only with basketball.
Okay. So what was the initial reaction of your parents or the people who live in your surroundings as to you taking up basketball?
Initially, they were all fine with me playing basketball because it was just played in the school and then you're back at home. But when I really got serious about it, when I was maybe in 5th or 6th grade, they saw that they made me the captain of the team, and from a very young age I was getting the recognition that would boost your own confidence to play.
Yeah.
So because I was getting that and my parents could see it, they also supported me in that, and my friends also encouraged me. So I kept playing the sport regardless, and I wanted to be a professional at a very young age.
Yeah. Okay, so when we talk about the professional athletes, so when it comes to them taking up a sport at a very serious level, it happens that they have to leave their studies behind. So how did basically you juggle between the two things, between playing basketball and at the very same time keeping up with your studies?
I mean, if you know our Indian culture in general, parents always tell you to study and not just play, because you don't see any scope in sports and stuff like that. But because of that, I never had that pressure from my family, but I always knew I had to study as well. So I always was a student athlete. Like I in the start said, yoga helped me balance both. And the one thing you learn in sports is when you want to be excellent and your best in the sport, that quality just doesn't stay just there. It carries on to other fields of life as well. So if I'm studying and being a student, I have to be the best I can.
Yes.
And it's not really about the result that comes out of it, but the effort that you put in to be the best. So that translates to every aspect of your life.
That's nice. I think that's pretty deep as far as what you have said. Talk us about your journey of playing European basketball. You know, what was the experience like? What are the things that you really liked about playing there with different players from different countries? And at the very same time, what were the challenges or the stereotypes that you faced, you know, at that time? So just, you know, the floor is all yours. You know, you can just enlighten us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Initially, when I left India and I went to UK for my high studies, and I was playing there, I had a tryout and I got selected for the first team of University of Westminster. And during my time there, I learned that basketball is completely different here. That they play a more organized and systematic way of basketball with plays and with completely different. It's like I opened a new book. And I don't know anything about that book. It's like maths to me.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense with maths, but it's like maths to me.
That's okay. Even I was equally not good in maths.
I was decent.
Oh man, that is great. Yeah, please carry on.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So I quickly adapted to their style of play. And within a year, I was the captain of the University of Westminster team for 2 years.
Nice.
And that first year that I was appointed the captain, we won the championship that year, and I played England's National Basketball League, which is one of the highest levels in the UK to play at a university level. There I played with a lot of Americans and Europeans and people from Britain as well. So it was a mix of all three already. And I was the only Indian playing there as well. So for me, the stereotype from the get-go was, can this Indian guy play with us? And can he compete at that level? And because they never seen an Indian play basketball.
Yes.
You would know cricket, but nobody in basketball. So I always faced, I won't say racism, but always looked down on because I was Indian. And Indians don't have the build or the physicality to play basketball at the highest level. So those things I faced, but I had to prove them. And I had a chip on my shoulder that Indians are no less than anyone else. So after me appointing captain, my confidence kept on going up, and I could see my dream of playing professional, you know, come true.
Yeah.
And eventually it did when I played in Europe for the first time. And, you know, that was a different kind of pressure because now it's professional.
Yeah.
It's a different atmosphere completely. The pressure is you have to perform or else you don't make the team.
Yeah.
So that pressure actually encouraged me to play at a higher level and push myself to play at the top levels.
Yeah.
And as I did, I could see things that I never saw me doing as a player, and I kept getting better. So it was always a step-by-step journey that I got for me to be able to develop myself and then come up, and develop myself and then come up.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna go play in Serbia, which is one of the highest leagues in Europe.
Yes.
So from Moldova to playing for the country, that was also an experience by itself, because there's nothing, you can't, as an athlete, playing for the country is the proudest moment that you can have in your life.
True.
And then that was really, I would say, I mean, I'm lost for words, so you know how the experience was.
Yeah.
Then later that I played in Malta, and like I said, now Serbia, which is the highest league. And I see this as a stepping stone towards my ultimate dream of any basketball player ever has, which is the NBA.
Yeah.
So my eyes are on the NBA since I was 7, but now I feel I'm very close.
Okay.
So I feel this is the step which will help me get to that level as well. And as I go and play there and transition into their style of basketball and understanding and learn and become a better player, I think I would be, you know, ready to take the next leap.
Okay. So you talk about, you know, taking the next leap, and at the very same time you also mentioned about the stereotypes that you faced when you first featured in the European basketball circuit, pardon. There are two things that I would like to know about. Number one, when you face such kind of challenges, when somebody literally questions your ability, whether you can really make it to the next level or not, how did you basically find the mental strength to deal with all these kind of things, or how did you prepare yourself mentally? And secondly, fitness wise, you talked about taking the next leap now. How are you preparing yourself, you know, at a very physical level, so that one fine day you can actually reach the ultimate dream that you have, which is of playing the NBA? So let's just get to the mental conditioning part now.
So basketball is a very physical sport. It is a very demanding. I think it's second or third fastest sport in the world.
Yeah.
And it takes so much out of you as an athlete because those 40 minutes you have to constantly sprint, and not just sprint, but like be able to shoot, be able to pass, be able to defend, everything at just once.
Yes.
So to play those 40 minutes, you have to train somewhere around 4 to 6 hours a day.
Exactly.
And maintain a very healthy diet. And I'm a vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian all my life. And you see Virat Kohli as well being a vegetarian, and you know how they say protein, you have to take a lot of protein to recover and sleep right. All those things, smallest detail, have to be taken care of. And as an athlete, it's not just the 40 minutes that we play, but the entire day of what we're doing translates to the game.
Exactly.
So when you talk about the mentality, it's your approach throughout the day, how you are taking, from the minute you wake up to the minute you lay down.
Yes.
You have to constantly be, at the best mental space you can be, and keep using every vehicle that you have to be able to support you to perform at the highest.
Exactly.
One slight thing, if it differs, the performance comes in a different way. So every minute detail of how much water you had, how is your mental state, are you emotionally feeling something, the mental aspect is taken care for me by my yoga.
Yeah.
Me meditating and sitting with my own self and understanding, okay, this is how I need to go through my day, this is what I need to do to play higher. So it kind of gives you that space to be clear about everything that you have to do, and the clutter of usually how people have thoughts comes down, and you're very clear about how to go about your day and take it to the next step.
Okay, before we get to the fitness part, the physical fitness part, I would just like to have one more question on the mental aspect of things. So do you also try to adopt some techniques like visualization, something that is actually followed in different sports across the globe, or maybe a thing called CBT, cognitive behavioral technique, which is actually a way to change your thoughts. So do you try to adopt these kind of techniques so as to keep your mental thing very much on track, or is it just completely yoga, or maybe just being on the positive side of things?
See, one thing is just being optimistic without having the necessary work done.
Exactly.
That is illusion.
Exactly.
That is not what yoga is about. Yoga is actually, like you said, these mental, you would say, methods that you're talking about. Yoga is a more scientific approach to that. Exactly. It is more about you understanding how your breath is impacting your mind, how what you say is impacting you, and what you tell yourself impacting. So it's and how you sit, how you stand. What you call as asanas. It's every aspect of being human covered, which can take you to the next step.
Exactly.
So you are literally, the way you sit, it changes how you feel, think.
Yes.
The way you breathe, it keeps changing. If you're feeling happy, your breath changes. If you're angry, your breath changes. When somebody's feeling really stressed, you always tell them, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Which in yoga we would say do pranayam. Right?
Exactly.
So you do the necessary work early in the morning, so that the rest of the day things don't influence or impact you, and you are always focused on the actual work that you thought you need to do. And it's like, if you have the thought, for example, I have to play at the highest level and play in the NBA, to back up that thought with the necessary work, which is obviously basketball, but also when I sit for my meditation or yoga and the breath work and everything. Those create so much power within you that thought is getting all the necessary focus and energy it is. Now it's not in 100 different directions, you're one pointed single focus.
Exactly.
So your mind, body, energy and emotion are in one direction. And when things are in one direction and all four are focused, it's a consequence for you to reach the highest level. So it's always about the process than the result and the destination. If you're able to enjoy the process and at the same time give your 100% to the process, you would not even be focused on the result. Result will just happen as a consequence of it. So it's always, the focus is on what the work needs to be done on the day to get there. So that's why I said
one day at a time.
One day at a time. So playing in Serbia is another step towards playing at the highest level.
Okay, just last couple of quick questions. So you talk about following a process or following a particular regime or a routine. The one name that actually comes to my mind of someone who was very hardcore with their discipline was Kobe Bryant.
Exactly.
You get up at 3 or 4 in the morning, you get ready, go for training. couple of hours, come back, have your breakfast, go for training. Come back, rest, have your lunch, go for training, come back, have your evening snack, go for training, and then you sleep. How much of an impact or how much of an inspiration has a certain Kobe Bryant for you, and what are the things that you have probably learned from him that you can probably imbibe in your fitness routine?
So, to begin with, the Kobe Bryant has been my role model since I was young, and looking at him play and just being in awe of what he's doing on the court got me to, you know, even fall in love deeper with the game. And the way, like you said, whatever you mentioned is absolutely true, and that's how he, you know, gave himself to the craft, and that's what it takes to be the best in the world. And that itself told me at a young age that this is how you need to be able to get to the highest level. And he said this one thing which I'll always carry with me is, you are your own competition, and you have just a tunnel vision, and don't look left and right where someone is.
You say Mamba mentality.
Mamba mentality. Yes. And that is what I follow. I don't look at who is successful, who is doing good, who is doing bad. Just focus on your own self, your own, whatever you lack, you focus on that, make it better, and just keep going. As you do that, things will move forward for you.
Exactly. Just one last question. So obviously, you know, you are one of those athletes who is hoping to take the Indian basketball to a next level, and obviously, you know, one fine day feature at the NBA also. So what do you think are the steps that should be taken at a very grassroots level by the relevant stakeholders in India, so that many athletes like you can one fine day harbor the hope of playing for India, or maybe, you know, representing India at a bigger level at an NBA, basically at NBA?
So I have seen all the athletes in India since I was young till now. And I see so much potential in our country that we can be one of the best in the world as well, and there's nothing really stopping us. We have everything we need. But one thing, which is the league. Like Kabaddi. So
a pro league.
A pro league. For even the parents and for everyone to even know that, okay, we should send our kids to be able to play, you know, at a professional level. And there is a job for playing basketball as well. That he can take care of his own survival by playing the sport, like any other professional atmosphere that we have. And you see how people didn't know about Kabaddi, but now once the league came, everyone knows what Kabaddi is and how big it is. And now if a child now starts playing Kabaddi, his parent will tell him, okay, you go ahead. If he sees potential, he'll say, go ahead and play that sport. And then, because the parents see the future. So for a parent to even support, there should be something to look forward to. So I'm very happy that our basketball is also maybe going to have a league in the coming few months or a year, and that will, I think, change the direction towards, you know, leading towards NBA for everyone. And the potential that we have, which I want to talk about, is so high that these opportunities that will come to the Indian basketball players will help them play at any level in the world, not just NBA, but like me, they will be. That's my dream, that I want to see all of the guys that I saw playing in every other regimen, in every other league outside India, for the world to also see that these Indians are capable of playing everywhere.
True.
And not just succumb to just playing in the country, but outside and make a huge noise. And let everyone know that basketball is as big as cricket, and get it to the same level. So that's the dream.
So thank you so much for joining us.